Hey, last we left off, I was looking for a way to get XP, and that turned out to be me both looking for creepers for gunpowder and animals for food because I am out of food. I was asleep for 15 hours before recording this video. And you might be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Are you unemployed? I might as well be at this point. I've had to now give up 4.5 of my shifts because of this goddamn pain. And that is why I slept for 15 hours, was because I was in so much pain that I couldn't manage to pull myself out of bed for the past 15 hours. And the only reason why I got out of bed was because I was like, I need to eat food so I could take more anti-inflammatory medicine. So I got up, I ate a fucking apple. I did not eat the damn thing to its core like I normally try to do. I ate enough to the point where I was like, if I eat more, oh god. If I eat more, I'm probably going to throw up. You know, that's how much I ate. And then I said, alright, that's good enough. That was mean. And now I'm here, recording this video. You know, so yesterday, Friday, I went to work. Every Friday, I close. And I always close alone. And it's super messed up that they make me close alone because we have, like, wristbands that you can buy for 15 bucks a person, which is incredibly cheap. And it's from 9 p.m. until 2 a.m. And you could bowl, you could play pool, you could play laser tag, you could do literally whatever you want in the store for free. All you have to do is pay 15 bucks. And so 9 o'clock rolls around and everybody just floods in, you know, it's actually kind of disgusting. But hey, you know, nobody's been promoted to supervisor yet because we're not meeting sales, guys. We're not meeting every single fucking Friday that I fucking work, which I work every single Friday. Our wait time is like 3 hours long because of how the influx of people. Sorry, I'm getting excited already. You know, but we're not meeting sales. We're making about $100,000 a night. We're not meeting sales. It's ridiculous. And they're like, dude, why are you trying to quit? And I'm like, brother man, because I was told I was going to get supervisor. What, 5 months ago now? And yet, here we are, you know, in the wonderful month of October, and I'm still not a supervisor. That's aside the point. Point is, I was sitting there working. I thought I could be like a manly man. And, oh god, I hate this area. This is why I have a bucket. Why am I not using the bucket? I thought I could be real manly about it. And just kind of macho my way through the pain. I couldn't. About 30 minutes into my shift, I was in so much pain that I felt like I couldn't walk. And then about an hour into my shift, I was in so much pain that I felt like I was going to throw up. And then, you know, I kept going because I have an ego for some fucking reason. And then about an hour and a half into my shift, I turned a corner and my leg gave out on me. And I nearly ate shit. And my coworker looked at me and was like, why did you come into work? And I was like, honestly, I thought I could do it. And they were like, but, like, why? Like, why do you care? You have, like, a point to prove? And the answer is no, I don't. I don't have a point to prove. So I don't know why I showed up to work. For minimum wage? So it'll, like, my other coworker was like, dude, why didn't you just, like, apply for disability? Like, it didn't happen at work, but you still have a disability. You can't walk right now. And I was like, I didn't think about that. I need the money. Not as much as I make it out to seem. I do have a grandma who is willing to help support me. But I don't like relying on that because then, you know, I don't know. It feels bad. feel guilty relying on my grandma to help me with my finances. Anyways, I ended up going home. One of the managers was real mad about it. He was like, it's really unfair to you to leave your coworkers. And I'm like, what coworkers? I'm closing alone. And he's like, well, we're going to have to get 3 other people in here to close. And I was like, you're going to have to call in 3 people to close? And he was like, yeah, this is really busy tonight. And I was like, and you expected me to do it alone. Yet when I can't do it, you're getting 3 people to do it. It's, dude. And I know, right? Well, you should be, you should feel flattered that they think that you can be relied on to do the job of 3 people. No, I'm insulted that they think they could just take advantage of me that easily. I'm gonna take Fridays off as available. I'm not gonna be available on Fridays anymore. That's not fair. They can't sit here and do that to me. And the people that got called in to cover me get paid more than me. It's I want to. And yes, I'm looking for other jobs. I don't want to hear nobody be like, sorry, let me use correct grammar. I don't want to hear anybody be like, well, maybe you should work a better job. Shut up. I gotta go this way. So I went home. I was in so much pain that I couldn't even take a shower. I couldn't even stand in the shower. I got home and I laid down on my couch because I didn't want to lay in my bed in dirty work clothes. I laid on my couch and I passed out for 3 hours. And then I went and took a shower and then I slept for another 12 hours. So it hasn't been great. It's been a pretty rough past 20 or so hours. But, it'll pass. We'll get through it. I just, it's weird stuff. I gotta remind myself that the job isn't worth it. It sucks because I'm somebody who takes a lot of pride in his work ethic. Even being there in pain. One of the other managers, he was being cool about it. He was like, why are you busting tables? Make your coworkers bust tables. Your leg hurts. He was like, you can't walk very well. You should not be busting tables tonight. And I was like, but I feel like shit just standing around. And he was like, well, that's all you can do. So just stand there. And he's right. I should just stand there and do nothing. Because most of the time, it's my coworkers standing there and doing nothing. And if I'm going to be injured for the first time in, the 9 months that we've been open, why can't they pick up my slack for once? But, anyways, it looks like I'm carrying a snowball in my hand because of this lighting. It's weird. Anyways, I've been thinking a little bit about pride. Oh, shit. I missed the jump. And about I've been thinking about how there's a difference between loving someone and having too much. This is totally off topic from the job, but it's on topic for pride. The difference between loving someone and being too prideful to say goodbye. And you might be like, what does that mean? Those seem like completely different things. Well, chill out. I'm going to tell you. By the way, guys, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button if you're enjoying the content so far. Because I think my last relationship... My burning oak saplings. I think in my last relationship, I was trying so hard to make things work. When not even half as much effort was given back to me. And I was thinking about why. Why I was doing that. Because at the time, I was conscious of the fact that I was putting in way more effort than I was getting. Where the hell did I put? Why is obsidian here? But I never stopped to deeply analyze why I did that. I asked myself why at one point, and the answer I had come to was because I wanted to. And that sounds kind of lazy, so I guess I'll go into detail on that a little bit. In high school, I had a problem with cutting off friendships very abruptly. Like, they did one thing wrong, and I was like, all right, we're done. Like, friendships, relationships, whatever it was, you know, I was very, very quick to cut people off. Not a great trait by any means. And I didn't think anything wrong with that because in high school I was like, it's weird to keep raw food in here, but this is already getting over flooded. I'll be able to keep all the food in there. Anyways, I didn't see anything wrong with it at the time because I was like, if I viewed friendships and, you know, relationships, friend-wise and platonic-wise and romantic-wise, I viewed them as very transactional. And, you know, to some extent that's true. If you are only giving and you are never getting, then there's no reason for you to be in there. But I looked at it at such a deep transactional level that it was literally like dollar for dollar exchange. If I do something, I expect to get something of equivalent value back soon. You know, and it's more of something where you don't keep tabs on that stuff. You are conscious about it, but you don't keep tabs on it because that just, you know, it's too much to try to keep track of. So, entering my adulthood, I was kind of grappling with that a little bit. And I'd gotten into a relationship. The relationship lasted 3.5-ish years. Towards the end of the relationship, you know, I was trying really hard to make it work. A lot harder than I've ever tried to make any sort of relationship ever work. Even like relationships with like parents and family members, you know. I've never put in that much effort to try to save a failing relationship. And I told myself I did that because I'm trying to be better as a person. And I said that I'm willing to put in all of this extra effort, even though this person isn't giving me that effort right now, because maybe one day I'll get it back in a different form. And right now, I just need to be in a place where I'm not giving up on something too early. And there's an argument for that to be correct. You know, you don't want to give up on something too early. Just because you're not seeing immediate results doesn't mean that you won't see results, period. But that, you know, there's that line that you got to walk. Of when is it too much. And I think I let it be too much. Because now, after everything's said and done, and you know, this is obviously hindsight 2020 type of situation. Now that everything's said and done, everybody at the time was telling me I was putting in too much effort. But everybody agrees that I put in too much effort. And I now also feel that way. And I think the answer to this is obviously I was overcompensating because I wanted to try to be better about putting effort into relationships. But I think a lot of it was pride. I think I wanted to prove to myself that I could make this work. And at some point it stopped being about the love. And I think that's because the love was no longer there. Maybe that's the difference, you know. recognizing when the love is gone. I recognized the love was gone for me earlier than I realized that it was gone. Sorry, the love being given to me was gone sooner than the love I was giving was gone. And at the time, when I was still trying, I realized that the love being given to me was gone. And what I told my friends, because they were asking me a lot, they're like, but I just don't get why you're still trying. They were like, because you don't feel like, you know, your girlfriend loves you anymore. And I was like, yeah, but I don't think that they've realized that they don't love me anymore. So I wanted to put in enough effort and like bring enough things to their attention that they either realized they realized that, you know, I was right in thinking that they didn't love me anymore, or they realized that they're not acting in a way that they think is appropriate. You know, I'm not in their head. I don't know if I was right or not in that, or if I don't know what was happening, and I can't think about what was going on in their head too much, because the more you try to get inside someone else's brain, the more you'll just go insane. Just something to, you know, it's a learning experience. It's not anything I'm like upset about. I'm not like regretful that I tried too hard. Well, you know what's crazy? After we had broken up, a couple of months had passed, and we met up for breakfast just to talk about things, because we have a lot of mutual friends. And so I had reached out and I was like, hey, can we just like clear the air, get rid of any sort of animosity, so that when we see each other at social gatherings, you know, we don't hate each other. And after some arguments, they reached out and agreed to meet with me, and we met. One thing they said to me, my ex said, well, you told me that you feel like you didn't try hard enough. And I was like, huh? I told you what? And they're like, that you didn't try hard enough. And I said, when the hell did I tell you that? And they're like, after we broke up. And I was like, no, I didn't. Maybe you wish I did. Maybe you wish I thought that I didn't try. What the hell are you talking about? And they're like, well, I told you that. And I was like, well, I'm telling you I didn't. And if on some sort of off chance I did and I'm not remembering it, I was lying. Because I do not feel that way. I feel like I tried way too hard. I feel like you didn't try hard enough. You know, I feel like they held back on me that day. I was like, we're broken up. We're not going to see each other more than maybe once or twice a year. And that's if we both happen to go to our friends' parties. Like, let me have it, man. Say all of the shitty things you want to say about me to my face right now. Nothing. I didn't say it that bluntly, but I was like, you know, anything you want to get off your chest, like, do it. There's no consequences here. Nothing. And that's okay, you know? You can't control how other people are going to approach situations. You can't try to. You know, you can't sit there and try to control how they're acting in the situation, because that's just manipulative. Obviously, you don't want to do that unless you're a manipulative person and that's your goal. Yeah. This is what I was having a dream about. For 15 hours I was dreaming. I woke up and I was like, oh, thank God I live alone. After complaining about it last week, after being like, man, I wish I didn't live alone. You know, and realistically, this whole dilemma with my leg would be so much easier if I didn't live alone. I would have somebody to care for me in the slightest bit. to make, to make a little bit extra when they make themselves dinner, so I have something to eat. So I'm not surviving off of freaking apples like a horse. Woke up, sigh of relief. I was like, oh, thank God that's over. Over in the sense of I don't have to experience it anymore. I don't know how long I'm going to think about it. The more I think about it, I shouldn't say the more I think about it. The longer I continue to think about it, probably... How? Brother man, I hit you twice. It's probably significant to whether or not I still have things to learn from it, you know? If I'm still thinking about it, that means I still have questions. Or that I haven't come to terms with things yet. So it's okay, you know? I'm not... Can you... Dude, the baby zombies are silent. I swear to God. Also, did you guys notice? I turned down the game volume. I was watching that last video. Oh my God, why is that last video at almost 500 views? I think video before last. Why is that at almost 500 views? It's insane. It had terrible retention. But I assume most of these videos will when new people find them because, you know, this isn't content for everybody. This is only content for people that like listening to a guy yap while there's video game video in the background. Foreground? I don't know. The main purpose of the video is me yapping. And I'm playing a kids game, providing content that is not popular amongst modern day kids. Maybe there will be a resurgence of long form commentary gameplay. You know, maybe the trends will revive, and I'll be one of the first to revive it. No, I doubt it. That would mean that there would be a shift in the way children's brains work. Because when long form gameplay commentary was popular, there wasn't a lot of short form, you know, ding 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 flashing colors like type of stimulation going on videos. Oh fuck me. That was just stupid. I don't know why I did that. So I think it was inevitable that short form content would beat out long form content. Can you stop it? Please. I'm leaving. Getting shot by 3 different skeletons. I don't think long form content will ever win out over the short form again. Whoop! We're good. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how this whole content thing works. If I did, I would have more than... How many subscribers do I have? I think last time I checked, I had like almost 60. I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm down to 20. You know, I saw a Instagram reel. You guys remember the millennial girl that was like dancing for her IHOP pancakes or something? She was dancing for, I think it was like IHOP pancakes. And she got bullied on the internet for like over a year. And is supposedly still getting bullied because her channel, her Instagram page showed up on my feed. And she was talking about how she's still getting bullied for it. And I was like, boo-hoo, brother. Sorry, not boo-hoo. That's fucked up. I wouldn't want to get bullied online. But also, like, you're putting yourself out there, you know? You're putting yourself in that situation where it's very possible that you're going to get bullied for something that you did or said online. Anyways, that's aside the point. I saw that and I was like, oh man, I didn't know that she was like a content creator. I thought that she just like happened to make one video that gained a lot of traction and she got bullied for. But no, she's a content creator, and I was scrolling through her page to see what type of content she makes, and she made like a 400k follower special. And then I was like, oh man, she has a lot of followers. And I checked her follower count. She's down to 380k. And I was like, oh, so you've lost 20,000 subscribers or followers since you uploaded that. That would be a hit to the E. And you leave that video up. That's interesting. I'm not saying that she's wrong for that. I would probably take it down. I think, if not because it's embarrassing, just because it's kind of inaccurate at this point. Like, you don't have 400k subscribers. It sucks. Followers, sorry. God, everything should just be... And then, you know, on everything should be followers, you know. It shouldn't be subscribe on YouTube, because everywhere else, subscribe means that you're paying a subscription fee. Otherwise, you're just a follower. Anyways. That's it for the video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.